We'll go and get started up today. Everybody, welcome to our monthly member meeting for January of 2024, the first one of the year. Bringing it in with a bang or cold polar vortex or whatever we're calling it these days. I see that we have a couple new members here, so welcome. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the talk today, and if you have any questions, definitely reach out. And any visitors here today. We'll go through and talk about the club and some of the goings on. And then if you're wanting to become a member, we can help you out with that as well. Today is kind of going to be just a loose format of a presentation. As many of you know, we were traditionally supposed to meet in person, but as Theo said, it hardly ever snows in Tennessee. And then, of course, on January 17th, we get our snowstorm of the year. So, hooray! Which works. So we are on Zoom. So thanks for everybody for allowing us to pivot this way. I have a feeling that, this is a pretty good option, either doing virtual or at Dyer, the observatory. I think that those are two pretty good things that have us set for whatever may come. So again, welcome everybody. We got a good contingent on Zoom, so we'll go ahead and get started. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I do put a lot of just thought into my cover screens here of what I'm going to put on my slideshow today. And for this one, I was like, oh, it's cold outside. And so I wanted to search for like an icy telescope or something like that. And it was an interesting adventure. And I kind of pride myself on being able to find things because, when you get your PhD, you just get really good at finding information. And so I just kind of wanted to walk you through what ended up happening today, right? So I typed in icy telescope, and this was one of the first things, or snowy telescope, and this was one of the first things that came up. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I just thought that this was a really cool image. In 2017, Hubble tagged M79, and it's this big glob, and it's beautiful, that image. And they said it was kind of like the celestial snow globe. And so I was like, well, that's appropriate, seeing as when you look outside, we're covered in it. And so I just thought that was a really cool image of M79. You got the really beautiful red stars kind of spattering in with the whites. So it's pretty cool. I was doing some research on M79, just trying to get a good idea of what it is, and potentially part of a dwarf galaxy that's colliding with the Milky Way and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So there's really cool things out there. And so I kept on doing my search because I wanted to show this, a telescope that's frozen, because if anybody got outside, they pretty much had frozen gear. But the first thing that came up was apparently a book called The Frozen Telescope. I'm like, oh, well, that's pertinent. Apparently, if you have children 9 or older, this is a series, and the last book is The Frozen Telescope. I'm like, oh, awesome. But of course, when you search for frozen telescope, guess what you're going to get? Frozen things. Here, binoculars, but I guess this is Frozen 1. Here's Frozen 2 for the next, apocalyptic snow that we get here in Nashville. And I'm like, all right, frozen telescope isn't getting me where I want to be. And so I Googled icy telescope, and I'll be darned, I stumbled on this. Somebody making a telescope lens out of ice. Like, that
Oh,
is,
that's cool.
yeah. So, there's apparently things to do out here in the ice and snow if you're bored and really need to get your fix in. So, uh, fun things, just kind of, always interesting what you find putting these things together. All right. So we'll go ahead and get down to business here today. First of all, hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at the clips and see the minutes from last month's meeting, as well as the minutes from our board meeting from last month. Did anybody have any questions on anything that was in the minutes, or any comments?
Nope.
Not that I see on my screen. Um, Keith, are you here today? I don't think I see a Keith. But I did take a look at our member report. We're at 172 members right now. Our membership is growing. We're up a couple members from last month. So welcome everybody. If you're new to the group. Theo, do you have a treasurer's report for us?
Yep. So our bank balance right now is 5787.16. We made a little bit of money on the auction table at the December meeting, so that went into what we call savings or equipment account, but it's really just bookkeeping these days. So otherwise, the only thing we've really paid for lately is our next year of insurance. So we maintain a liability insurance in case somebody trips and breaks their leg over a telescope at a star party or something. So that's about $300 a year, which sounds like a lot, but really it's not for the peace of mind, really.
Yep.
We've got $256 now again in the PayPal account because yes, we have new members, which is great. All of the handbooks got mailed out, so they all went out to whoever had bought one, and so that's done.
Do we still have the one extra?
I do still have, and thank you for reminding me, I have one extra one. So if anybody, where is that puppy? Here it is. Anybody wants a copy of the Observer's Handbook for 2024, nice picture there on the front. I have one left over, so would be cheerful to sell it.
Indeed. All right. How are we doing on the socials? Did you get a chance to look today?
Let's see. Facebook is just rounding. So we're liked by 2.1K and followed by 2.3K. I need to get back into that and post some salacious things to get that to go up again. Twitter, we have 324 followers. It bounces from 325 to 324. So, and we also have, and the only one I have reachable is the old ones left over, but the new ones don't look greatly different. We have solar glasses. And one of the interesting things that I did hear on a meeting today is Rainbow Symphony has basically put out a message saying all the ones that we've made for like selling to normal people have been made. And when we run out, they're gone. Everything else we're doing are orders for, bigger people. And so we're not making any more for you people. So get them now. So at some point, people are going to start running short. So anyway, for new members, members get 2 pair each for free. That's a bonus of being a member in an eclipse year. And then I'd like to sell them for $2 a pop, but for members it's $1 a pop. I would cut a deal if you're a school or some organization like that, and you go, help us, the children need solar glasses. I do feel really strongly for the educational side of things. So for those guys, they would get a really good price. And if you're going to buy 1,000 at a pop, you'll get a really good price. And last year we had a couple of local businesses actually buy a couple of hundred, for their law office, for their whatever, and that was kind of fun. So my kids got drafted. Yours are a little bit young yet, Tom, but they actually went around their dad's office. Please, sir, would you like to buy some solar glasses?
Would you like another?
I'm sure I could send my daughter out. She's got the cute streak in her.
Right. So they actually sold a bit at their dad's office that way. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
That's really cool. I just want to say that on another website that I was looking at, they're already selling them for $3 a pop. So,
yep.
We're not out to get rich off these things. We just want to get them for you guys, so you guys have them. So, if you're interested in solar shades, I have a link up here shortly. I'll show you how you can pick them up. But I'd say we're going to bring them to future meetings and stuff like that. If the weather cooperates. So, well, thank you, Theo, for that. I know you put in a lot of work with everything, so appreciate all of that. I am also the equipment guy, and so we have equipment available to loan as one of the perks of being a member. The list still exists on our Google group. somewhere. It does need updated, but there's still the equipment that we have is still on there. If you have equipment, let us know how it's going with it, what you've been able to use it for, if you've been able to make it to any star parties, to interact with the public, or if there's anything that we can help with, just reach out, let us know how things are going with it. I know that we have a variety of scopes, and it comes in handy whenever you're thinking of potentially buying a scope. And so if you want to see if you'd like a Dob, or if you'd like a Mac Cass or something like that, we have a wide variety of scopes available or in our ownership that we lend out for free. And so just get in touch with us one way or another, and we can get you set up for that. Moving on, there were a couple things, I was putting this together, things I wanted to get taken care of for 2024. First off, we were able to secure a new venue, pretty awesome. We're going to be meeting at the Dyer Observatory, which is affiliated with Vanderbilt. If you haven't been up there, it's on top of a really big hill. And it's obviously going to have a decent sky above it as well as you can in Brentwood, Tennessee. Our meetings will be 7:30 to 9:30, typically the third Wednesday of every month. We knew that July 17th was going to be Dyer Observatory's camp week. So we're pushing that meeting into the next Wednesday, so July 24th. And so we'll send out emails before that. And just last week, I was notified that June 19th is now a holiday for Juneteenth. And so we'll probably have to move move that meeting to June 26th as well. In the days leading up to those, those meetings, we will definitely probably spam the heck out of you to remind you that we're meeting a week later, so that you don't show up going, because on June 19th, nobody's going to be there. So it would be a pretty interesting, just showing up to a dark place. On July 17th, if you show up, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of kids running around. So either way, you probably have some fun there. So new venues in place. It is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting up there. If you follow the Dyer Observatory on their Facebook feed, Dr. Billy posted this yesterday. He made it up to the observatory, four-wheel drive, and he took this picture. So this is the reason why we're meeting on Zoom today. And if you're wondering, because I asked, what do the roads look like? He said, that's the road. So he said that all of Omen Drive essentially looks like that. So that's the reason why we're meeting virtually today. So again, I thank you for allowing us to pivot and interact with you guys in a wonderful way. But next month, hopefully we get to reach out or get to see everybody at the observatory. Along with the things that we have going on in 2024, we are looking for newsletter help. So if you have any experience with newsletters or publications or something like that, or editing, and you'd be interested in helping us out, we would love to have you. Drew has been helping us out for quite a while, and we'd like to, kind of shift some of that off of Drew because he does a lot for the club. So if you have an interest in this, please reach out to us. Or you don't have to have experience in it. I'm sure we can show you how it's done. I know there's a lot of really good information in there, and we can show you where the information comes from and all of that good stuff. So again, if you're interested in helping with the newsletter, reach out to us at info@bsasnashville.com. And then finally, for 2024, we are also still trying to fill the vice president position for our club. It's been a while since we've had one. I know COVID hit and everything kind of went into chaos with just trying to keep everything in order and in line. But if you'd like to be more in tune with what the club's doing or help make some decisions for the future of the club, definitely reach out and we can tell you what everything would entail. Or if you'd just like a position on the board or like to be more involved with the club, we'd love to hear from you. And again, you can get in touch with us at info@bsasnashville.com. All right. That being said, bsasnashville.com. It's you're going to hear a lot of that. This is our current website. You can find us here at bsasnashville.com. There's a couple cool things on here. I really enjoy this clear sky chart down here. We can see that on Thursday, tomorrow, we're supposed to get some nasty weather coming through. The wider these dots are, the worse viewing there is. So it means there's more light in the sky. Interestingly, as we come over to Saturday, this is our next planned star party. So it looks like the skies may cooperate. Not gonna hold my breath on that because I'll show you why here shortly. But also on the website, we usually will keep up with when the meetings are, when public star parties are coming up. If you're interested in hatch show prints that are pretty famous here in Nashville, we had Hatch Print Company make us a poster for our 90th anniversary with our own stencil that had never been printed before. And so those are available for $25 with shipping. Is that right, Theo? They're $25 with shipping?
Oh, the prints?
Yeah.
Yes, they're 25 with shipping. Or 20 to come up at a meeting.
Yeah, and you click on here and it'll take you to a place where you can purchase them. They are pretty awesome posters. And then we also have Eclipse glasses. As Theo mentioned, they have our nifty little insignia on them. They are certified from Rainbow Optics. We have them for discount for members. And if you know anybody out in the public that wants to get their hands on some glasses, let them know that we have them available. And if you click on this link here, you can purchase them through PayPal. So if you're in person and you're like, oh, I need some glasses, but you don't have cash on you, you can pay right away, or you can pay on PayPal and we can figure out how we can get you the glasses through mail or something like that.
For members, I would just let me know and I can actually send you a request for payment or something like that if you want to do it via PayPal, and that way I can give you your member discount.
That works. All right.
Yeah.
Over here on the left side of our page, we have links to all of our socials, Facebook, what used to be Twitter. I was looking at it today, and we probably need to change that icon because now it's the X. And then Instagram here. We also have our discussion forum up here, and I'll talk about what that is here in a second. But here's what's going on Facebook. Here you can see what Theo gave us, likes, followers, and stuff like that. Pretty good following for, just people having fun with the stars and skies. I believe Chip has been pretty good with this. Like he's been plugging in a lot of dates and stuff like that, finding out more things we can do with Facebook to interact with you guys in the community. We have a list of our upcoming events. So here you can see today's meeting, our public star party scheduled for Saturday, and so on and so on. As we go down, I think February 17th is another public star party. And then I think on the 21st, maybe is our next meeting. We'll get to that here in a second. But also posted on here as an event for January 24th, the Astronomy on Tap. It's just another fun way the community can interact with astronomy. They have a couple speakers there. I'm trying to remember what the actual talks are, but it should be an interesting event, and so we're always trying to support local astronomy interests. On X Twitter, we have a couple posts coming through a day or so, or a couple posts a week or so. There's a lot of stuff going on in terms of a push for darker skies, in terms of not flooding our night sky with lights. I thought this was interesting. One of the big pushes against dark skies is the feeling of safety and things like that, and you'll feel like the darker it is, the less safe you are. And this post was from France. A year ago, Bordeaux, France began turning off over half of the city's streetlights between 1 and 5 a.m. As an energy saving measure, and despite public alarm, there was no significant increase in crime. So there's people starting to see that these stats are coming out, and hopefully it'll start getting people's ideas more that it's not necessarily the light that's keeping that we don't necessarily need all of that light all the time, especially who all's out between 1 and 5 a.m. So hopefully people are starting to get a little bit more responsible from that. We also had on our Twitter page a little poll, right? How can you take action on light pollution? Well, use motion sensors or timers on lights, aim lights downward, talk to friends and family, join a local light pollution initiative, or E, all of the above. And so I could sit here and let you guys, take this quiz on your own, but I'll spoil the lead, right? The answer is E, all the above. Basically, I think a lot of it starts with just being responsible with how you use lights. Me, I'm a tech junkie. I've got everything in my house kind of lined up with a smart device that starts with the letter A. I can't say the name because something over here will go ding on me. But I have it set up with motion lights and motion sensors so that lights turn on and then they turn off within, I think, 10 minutes after any motion's been done. And so, the smarter these houses are getting these days, the easier it is to automate those kind of systems. I'm just trying to be responsible, for the night sky around me. Make sure you have good lights aimed down, and share this, share everything with friends and family, kind of like what I just did, right? Like, hey, there's, we can do some things to help everything out. And I know Theo's been really pushing for, local light pollution initiative. I know that you've been involved with the dark skies in Tennessee kind of thing. Has anything moved forward with that?
We actually had a meeting up at Pickett State Park at the beginning of December. 4 people, and we're kind of the skeleton crew of what we're hoping to be the board of directors, literally, of the Tennessee chapter. So, kind of trying to plot out what we want to do for the next year, how we want to, proceed and get people involved, because there are something like 150 people over Tennessee that belong to the International Dark Sky Association, but they're all unconnected. And so what we want to do is connect those people so that we can work together to do stuff. So that's kind of where we're at, and we'll look at holding an event or two that are, kind of focused on that and see what we can get going here. Some states have done an outstanding job of getting themselves organized, and so we'll try to learn from some of those people.
Yeah, definitely.
Missouri has got some really cool stuff. They actually do training through the Missouri, the St. Louis Club, where you can get training in how to talk about light pollution to people.
Yeah. I actually think I met the gentleman who's kind of spearheading that. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but I met him in Green Bank last year. So, yeah, it's a really good initiative, and hopefully things start catching on, so we can, get the word out that we need to protect our skies. All right. On Instagram, we do have an Instagram at BSAS Nashville. If you wanted to tag us on your post, we'd love to see it. If you would like to be featured on our Instagram, Steve is running our Instagram for us, so thank you for that. And he's posting up images that people send or upcoming events going on, such as star parties, member meetings, and anything kind of going on in the night sky that may be of interest to us. If you're interested in being featured or putting one of your images up, send it to info@basasnashville.com, or you can get it onto our Google groups, which I'll show you here. Here it is. So you can get to our Google groups from the link in our on our website. It says discussion forum. It is for members only, so if you do not have access to it, contact us by email, info@basasnashville.com. And it's basically just a forum where we can, send emails out. And when you send an email out, it goes to every member in the group. It's a way of communicating what's going on. Or if you're, looking for help with something for an outreach event, or if you're looking to go out to dark sky site and seeing if anybody's coming, or if you're finding just cool events happening, like Santa Claus coming, posted by Tony. So there's a lot of cool things that happen on the groups. A couple I wanted to point out. this Introduction to Amateur Astronomy course out of the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society. I attended the first talk on the 13th, which was, I don't know what date it is, which was Saturday, I think it was. And it was actually a pretty good talk. It was just kind of a general overview of, how we exist in the universe. They do have a couple more talks scheduled. They're all going to be on YouTube eventually. I believe part one just made it up on YouTube the other day. But if you're still interested in interacting with the Zoom, it's a free course, and signups are they are still taking signups through their website, and you can get to that through here, or you can click on this link that Theo posted for the invitation from Kalamazoo, and you can sign up there. Like I said, it's a free thing, and I'm all about free information and free knowledge, especially for things that we're interested in. While I was in that meeting, they also noted that they also have another free course going on in regards to their eclipse and their eclipse series. And this has been going on for a while, since November of last year. But what sparked my interest is this month. So in a couple days, January 19th, I think it's Friday night, they have a talk on automated imaging of the 2024 eclipse. And I know that automation for these eclipse make it a lot easier to enjoy that eclipse around you. And so I thought that that was kind of a cool one coming up. And so again, it's all about information and learning how to enjoy our hobby a little bit more. Now back to our club. Just want to throw this out here. Theo posted a picture of Roy's of the Lagoon Nebula here. I just kind of wanted to point out that this isn't nearly big enough, so I blew it up so people could see Roy's picture. Theo, you want to give us a little bit more information about this? Didn't you get a new camera?
Yeah, we had gotten stuff off the return table from OPT. So that was the auction that we won, and it came with a couple cameras. So this was an ATIC camera. It's a monochrome camera. And I don't know why it was returned. I'll put it that way. It seems to work just fine. So it's a monochrome camera, and so this is a monochrome image, but it's pretty fun and detailed. And we did get a set of color filters for Christmas. So the next time we take it out, but I think, well, this was taken from somewhere in New Mexico. We took advantage of the space around the eclipse, because if you're having a solar eclipse, the moon's out of the sky. So we took advantage of that to do some photography on the nights either side of the eclipse. So because the skies out in New Mexico were really, really nice. We had clear nights every single night. It wasn't always warm, but it was clear. So that was really nice. And the other nice thing about New Mexico is that it's dry. And so you don't have that pesky frost freezing on your telescope, which, yeah, I've actually had telescope lenses that look like that here.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really, it's just a nice place. We were practicing and having our little router in the camper so that, he can talk to the tiny computer that's out at the telescope. And you don't actually have to be out there. You can go to bed for a couple hours while the telescope does its thing. So, we're working on getting some of that taken care of so we can have some fun when we go places. And we'll try to do kind of the same thing for the total eclipse too. We're going to go out, early and hope for better weather than there was April of this past year. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for sharing that, Theo. Maybe we'll have to see if Roy would let us throw that up on Instagram as well. It's a pretty picture. But anyways, moving on. All right. And so a lot of you know that we run our group through the Night Sky Network. So if anybody's new here and just visiting, if you're interested in becoming a member, again, we do run our membership through the Night Sky Network. And so in order to become a member, you would have to sign up for them. It's free to sign up through the Night Sky Network. And then you'd go back to our BSASnashville.com and click on the become a member button, and it'll walk you through everything that you need to take care of. But the Night Sky Network has a lot of really cool information, and I've always kind of putting these up here, like links that the Night Sky Network has, and a lot of these show up in the in the eclipse as well. But I just wanted to kind of point out some cool things. As we're looking up at the sky, we often see these shapes and things that kind of start to pop out to us, and we typically call these things asterisms. So the stars that kind of form these interesting shapes. And so here's a couple, really cool asterisms through the seasons that can give you not just something to look for in the night sky, but it can also give you somewhat of an alignment, like, all right, this star, is pretty close to this Messier object and such like that. So if you can start finding your way around the sky, we have all these things in the different seasons that can really start giving you, a location to really enjoy what you're after, and to save some time in terms of like, all right, I want to find this, it's near Sirius, and so you can just find your bearings with these asterisms and go from there. Also on the Night Sky Network, they have these little tidbits of information here. They always have these outreach resources, which comes with the star map, and you can print that out. It's pretty good, tells you what's going on in the night sky. They usually have a best thing to see this month page that comes with it. And so these are always really helpful. And then they always have these articles about things going on in the night sky. And so I thought this image was really cool because Earth at perihelion is, the closest that we're at, the closest we are to the sun. And so in theory, the sun should be a little bit bigger. And then at the opposite of perihelion, you have aphelion or aphelion, however you want to pronounce it these days, which is the furthest away from the sun. And so here you see this picture that they put up. In the gray is what the sun looks like when we're at perihelion, and at the non-gray, that's aphelion. So that's the furthest away. And so there is actually a little bit of a distance that you can see. Now you're not gonna be able to pick it up with your eyeballs, but somebody with a really good camera and really good scope managed to get these images. So it's pretty cool that you can actually see those distances change with where we are at in the night sky. And so, there's an article about that. And so you can take a look over there. As far as outreach, last time you guys saw everybody was in December for the potluck. I missed that one because some sort of plague hit me or whatever. I'm still getting over it. So if you hear me kind of froggy in the voice, I apologize. But between that last meeting, we had Christmas, we had New Year's, and not much else going on. We did have a private star party scheduled for the 13th, which I believe didn't make anyways because I think the weather didn't cooperate, if I remember right, which worked out because I'm still waiting on our permit to come through. However, Theo just sent the confirmation of the payment for the permit, and so that'll hopefully show up sooner rather than later. And once we get our permit for the Natchez Trace Parkway, I'll post that on the Google groups. This should say future member events. I don't know why that transferred over. Things coming up on our to-do list. 3 days from now, we have the public star party at Edwin Warner Park from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I don't know why that, and my cut and paste is just off today. I wanted to put this up because awesome. It looks like we're going to have clear skies on Saturday 20th, but our high is going to be about 4 degrees. So I don't know how well we'll want to brave the cold on the 20th. We'll have to talk to Edwin Warner about that because I imagine there's going to be some cold warnings going on. But that's currently scheduled. On Saturday the 10th, we have a private star party scheduled out on the Natchez Trace at mile marker 435. This permit pending should have been in this one, not this one. I am still waiting on a permit, but it should be available to us by that point in time because it takes a couple weeks for them to process it. Then on the February 17th, we have another public star party out at Shelby Bottoms. It's a pretty good park out there. It's got a lot of it's got a room where we can potentially talk about different programs and stuff. So if it's raining or cloudy, there's a chance that we still might have a program for everybody. And then on the 21st is our next member meeting, which in theory should be at Dyer Observatory, unless the snow gods decide to rain down upon us again. And so those are things that are coming up in terms of outreach. I also just wanted to send out an email or send out a message because we got an email from one of my coworkers today about the Middle Tennessee Science and Engineering Fair. This is happening March 22nd of this year, and I just wanted to put this out there in case anybody was actually interested in helping out with this. I've done this a few times where I've helped judge some of these science fair or science exhibits, and it's a really good way to interact with the youth, the future of our scientific research. Um, the this last year, the 2023 winners, they were able to send them to Dallas for to participate in an international science and engineering fair. So you know, they're high school students or younger, and they're putting together really cool projects that them just getting some sort of notoriety can mean the world to them, and so it really helps boost STEM in the future. So if you're interested in potentially judging for MTSEF, you can send me an email to my Gmail account, or you can send us an email at info@bsasnashville.com and let us know that you're interested. Again, March 22nd, and it's actually right above my office at work, so I can tell you how to get there if you're interested. All right, little plug there for Dr. Murphy. Coming up in the night sky, we have a few things, a lot of stuff with planets, right? Like here we have Mercury and Mars together. Here we have Venus and Mars together. We have a lot of moon interacting with a couple of these planets as well. I've also kind of gotten in the habit of going to Stellarium's website and just plugging things in to see how close Mercury and Mars are going to be. And well, look, it's almost like they're going to hit each other, which is pretty awesome, right? So if you're interested in kind of seeing Mercury and Mars together, because Mercury can be hard to find because of where it sits in the sky, and you have to either be really early or really late, depending on where it's at. Here is at 6 a.m. on January 27th. Sunrise at 6:52, so you'll be able to catch it for a little bit before the sun blows it out. But here you can see they are sitting pretty close to each other, and so that's kind of cool to see in the sky, where you can get two planets in a really tight view if you really wanted it. And then in February on the 22nd, if you wanted to get up even earlier at 5:30 in the morning, you got Venus and Mars really close to each other as well. So we get some really cool stuff with the planets kind of dancing together in the night sky. So fun things to look forward to. If you haven't used Stellarium, it's pretty cool, free website or software you can put on your desktop that can help you kind of plan any of your night sky adventures. And I promise I'm not getting paid for saying this. I just use it. It's kind of cool. All right. And then finally, I just took this image today. We are 81 days from the total solar eclipse of 2024. And so that's less than 3 months, right? If you do all the math. Again, the eclipse's pathway is here, right? We unfortunately are right here. If you look here, we are not along the dotted red line. And so if you plan on wanting to see totality, it is worth making it to one of these red dashed lines, because 94% eclipse is definitely not 100% eclipse, right? So if you can, get to somewhere in this band, because it'll be worth it. However, if you can't make it to the band and want to see the 94% or closer, wherever you might be, make sure you have glasses, right? Because unless you make it to this point, you will need glasses during the whole event. Okay. So again, reach out to us or go to the website and click on the link so you can get your glasses. Once we start getting closer to the eclipse, glasses are going to start going fast. And so we say get them sooner rather than later, just to make sure that you guys will have the opportunity to get them, so you're not scrambling when the time comes. I have seen them already being sold at Ace Hardware, so they're available there as well. So just to give you an idea, it's the public are starting to get more knowledge about this. BSAS members get 2 pairs with membership, then they're $1 a pair after, and we have them available for non-members too. And so again, if you know people that that would like glasses and they're not members, just send them our way and we can help them out. And as Theo said, if you know somebody that would like a bulk order, if you're part of a group that would like a bulk order, we can work with you on costs as well. Again, it's all about outreach and letting people enjoy the sky, be it daylight or nighttime. All right, so that's what I have today. Normally at this point in time in January, we would go, all right, who's got telescopes? And then we'd start, putting them up and start look around and see what's actually, if there's anything we can help with in terms of how you can get the most out of your telescope. Maybe you need to align some things, or maybe you're having problems with focus or trying to figure out how to get those things. I just wanted to point out that even though we're not meeting in person today, you're more than welcome to bring, your telescope to a future meeting and, see if we can help with it, or bring your questions to a future meeting, and we can work with you there. Or you can catch us at some of these star parties, where we can potentially try and help you figure out your scope. And so in terms of topics today, because it was kind of a real quick, like, oh, it snowed and we can't get to Dyer, it's kind of, a little late to scramble for a talk. And so we wanted to open this up more so to the public to kind of get an idea of, how you guys are doing. Have you guys been up to anything lately? Is there anything that you'd like to get out of these meetings, or anything you'd like to get out of outreach? Like if you have seen something other people are doing, or if you thought like, oh, hey, it'd be cool if we could do this. Or, if you have any general thoughts on the club itself, like what would you like to get out of the club? Definitely feel free to let us know. And just kind of this general question of like, how are you doing? Right? We'd love to hear what you're up to. I just kind of wanted to throw out there, I've finally gotten a chance to get out under the sky a little bit over the last couple of weeks, just trying to sneak out after the kids go to bed. I got a new play toy for Christmas. This little guy. This is a dwarf, the Dwarf 2 electronically assisted astronomy camera, I guess you could say. The first light on it was of the sun, so you can see it actually does pretty decent there. Here you have the horse head. And so these aren't edited at all. These are just straight off of the dwarf itself. I think the Horsehead Nebula here and the Flame Nebula, they were, I think, maybe 30 shots stacked on each other. And so I have a good amount of them. I haven't processed them, offline, but this is just, a quick rough stack. So still trying to get it under the sky myself. And I just know that sometimes it can be crazy. This has helped out quite a bit. These smart telescopes, you just put them out and point and say, I want to go here. And there you go. So it's always interesting. So I was going to bring it tonight to show everybody, to see if anybody had any questions on that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on that. As Theo said, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news lately with space and stuff like that. Today, I literally had a question from a friend of mine, and I just thought of Theo when she mentioned wanting to get on Facebook and post some stuff. His question was, let me read the text message, as I kid you not, I got it today. He said, there's a rumor swirling that James Webb found signs of life on an exoplanet, and so far NASA has not given a hard denial to the rumor. So apparently James Webb has now found alien life, and they're not denying. So again, we should probably post that on Facebook. Get us some likes.
Yep. There's a preprint available that you can read. Basically, I mean, it's not they won't hard know it, but this is going to get the same kind of scrutiny that the phosphine detection on Venus got, which turned out to be not actually true. When they look to model atmospheres that they're looking at on exoplanets, you have to model it, right? You get a spectrum and you throw in elements to see what sort of combination or soup of elements is going to give you a spectrum that looks like what you're looking at. And they're trying to argue that they should have some, what is it, methyl sulfide and or dimethyl sulfide, I guess it is. Okay, so, and on Earth, that's produced uniquely by plankton and a few other life forms. So it would be considered something of a biosignature. Now, the particular exoplanet they're looking at, they think might have water on the surface and a hydrogen atmosphere. So chemistry, yeah, it might be different.
Yeah.
So it's going to get peer reviewed, and we'll see if it survives that. But it's not like you'd say, yes, this is life. You can say, when we model the atmosphere, we think we're seeing a signal of something that could be indicative of life. So that's where it's at.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That's right. This is when you get out exactly that gift.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Like, of course, the public's going to love this, right? Like, I can just imagine all the things that are going to pop up on Facebook. The whole world of the preprint cracks me up, right? Like, anything could be preprint. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that survives. Does anybody else have anything that they've been up to lately they'd like to share, or
Tom,
questions you
I
have?
did want to ask a question, maybe of Theo. We're doing the STEAM Stoner Elementary, and I just wondered if Theo, if you're going to bring solar glasses to that, would that be something that we might sell them at?
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely do that. I guess I'll ask the teacher, do they mind if we do that? Just, to make sure that's not against some local rule that we don't know about. But yeah, I mean, that would be a good place.
Same thing for the Adventure Science Center. I'm doing engineering one of the days of engineering week at the Adventure Science Center. I'll ask them. I don't think Oz or Drew are on tonight, but I'll ask if they think that would be something that would be acceptable to sell there.
Yep. And if they're not selling them, why not? So,
yes, right. If you're not selling them, can I sell them?
Yeah.
Because your guests need them.
Yep. Yeah, everybody in Middle Tennessee, since it's never total here, you will always need them. Right. And the sun is cool. I mean, this is the solar max year, so sometimes there are big sunspots. It's a good year to have them anyway. I've meant to do this for years, so I'm finally going to do it, I think. I was out the other night walking and noticed that there was a really, really thin crescent moon. And I go, wonder how old that is. So I looked it up, and it was inside what I need to start doing the lunar checklist for the Astronomical League. So that was the old moon, crescent moon that was waxing within 48 hours of new. And then the very next night, I could see a lot of Earth shine. So that's the old moon and the new moon's arms. The hard ones, of course, are the ones before sunrise. So we'll work on that. But anyway, it's a really cool little list of things you can observe about the moon. And we tend to either ignore it or take it for granted. So I'm going to actually try
or curse at it.
Yeah, or curse at it because it's too dang bright. So I'm going to try to step through that. And a lot of it is naked eye, the big Maria, to see them and recognize and say, okay, I can now point out which one is this particular Maria. And then there's a couple of craters. There's a whole binocular section. There's not a lot that you really need to use even a telescope for. And so anyway, it's good fun and try to do that.
And everybody should be aware we have a possible landing on the moon tomorrow. The Japanese mission SLIM, what's it? Smart Lander, I can't remember. Smart Lander or something. No, Smart lunar something measuring. But it's supposed to land tomorrow. And then unfortunately, the Peregrine lander, that was a commercial lander, is coming back to Earth tomorrow. It's supposed to crash through our atmosphere somewhere near Australia, north of Australia. It had a fuel leak on the way out to the moon, and basically has run out of fuel, so it didn't have enough fuel to go into orbit, and has looped around the back of the moon as was planned, and is coming back, and it's supposed to, I think it's supposed to come in around 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
You ever think Australia gets mad at us just kind of chucking things at it from outer space?
I think they think everything on this one's going to burn up, because this is pretty lightweight stuff that was going to land on the moon.
And I just looked up SLIM, smart lander for investigating moon. So straight to the point.
Right. Good name.
Well, that's cool. Have to follow that.
It had 5 rovers on it.
Oh wow.
Really hoping that was going to land. It had 5-inch diameter discs that the lander had a little catapult on it to literally throw them out onto the surface, and then the 5 were going to drive around and then meet up together, basically dock together, to prove a technology of coming together on the surface as
cool.
nanorobots. So in the future, we could put 10,000 of them on the surface and be able to do something with them.
Yeah, we're taking
that would
over.
that would have been cool to see.
Well, that's cool. You know, kind of along the lines of the lunar mission. Greg, I see your question in the chat. You can get these lunar checklists off the is it Astronomy of the Pacific, Astronomical Society of the Pacific, Theo, where they have those?
Just the Astronomical League, and I'm putting a link in the chat here.
Yeah, the lunar checklist is one of the programs they have. The other one that is of interest to us, and I know in the board meetings we've chatted about it every once in a while, but there's also urban night sky checklist, and so it'd be something that you could go through. You know, you don't need the dark skies, and just be, you know, things that you can look for underneath are somewhat lit up skies. And so we've been thinking about a way to kind of integrate that with the members to, you know, kind of have a joint, like, let's see if we can get all these things, if we can get out under the night sky. So maybe we'll try and get something like that together for everybody for the future. Let's see. Oh, there's the Urban Observing Program. Nice. Well done, Theo. Throwing links out there left and right.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, does anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts on the group going into 2024, or anything that we can help with?
You mentioned Saturday's party, but at 4 degrees, are we going to go ahead and cancel? I certainly not coming.
Yeah, so I was gonna see if we should like reach out to Edwin Warner and see if they have a policy, you know, because when Edwin Warner posts about things, a lot of people respond, and so I imagine that there's going to be a lot of people interested in going. And you know, I don't know what we're gonna do if they say, yeah, we'd like to still hold the event, and I guess we go, well, our scopes might freeze and crack and die. I don't know, but. We'll have to talk about it offline and see what we can do about it. But yeah, 4 degrees seems a little chilly. I could probably take a picture of my own frozen telescope if I really wanted to at that point in time. Teresita, I see you got a question.
Yeah, no, I just put a topic in the chat. I've been reading about actually Future Stories by David Christensen. He's a big historian from Macquarie in Australia, and he's written a book about future, and he's framing this book, the early chapters, in the philosophy of time, and for me it resonates when I'm looking at the night sky. So it'd be fun sometime maybe to weave topics like that into our conversations or meetings, or I know it happens sort of organically when we're at a star party, but I'm always open to having more conversations about things like
Yeah,
that.
who was the author?
David Christian, he's from McCary. I'll find a link. It's called Future Stories.
There it is. I'll have to take a look at that. That sounds kind of cool. Different way of thinking about things.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the conversation between, is time more like a river or a block universe? And then you get into bigger philosophical questions about free will and determinism. And, it just goes from there. But bringing it back to the night sky, just thinking about velocity. I mean, I think he was using kilometers, but he was saying the Earth is rotating at 1,600 kilometers per hour. And we're circling the sun, if I have it right, at 20,000 kilometers an hour. And we're moving around the black hole in the center of the Milky Way at 800,000 kilometers an hour. I mean, those kinds of figures, I just would love to talk about in community. So I'm not alone.
I often have this issue talking to students about biology and trying to tell them how many cells are in a body and how many bacteria we are, right? Like we're more bacteria than we are human. And you give them numbers, but when you're talking about trillions and billions and things like that, it's hard to grasp. And so it's also kind of hard to grasp oh, we're on a floating rock orbiting a sun at X amount, miles per hour, kilometers per hour, that's rotating around it's just unreal to kind of pull ourselves out and take that 30,000 foot view of what's actually going on. So I start thinking about that and my brain starts hurting because trying to cover everything that's out there. But that's a cool book. I'll take a look at that. It sounds really interesting. Ralph, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question about the science fairs project that you had talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Um, is the judging just for the whole fair? Is that the part you were trying to explain?
So the way that the fair is set up is students will enter in experiments for a certain category. And so
Right.
when I've judged, Dr. Murphy's, signed me up for a lot of the physics-y things and the science-y things that kind of gear more towards us. In the past, we've sponsored an award, which, we'll bring it up to the board to see if we're going to do that again this year, but it's a good cause. Just some monetary award for the student that has the best, in our best maybe astronomical or engineering kind of setup or experiment. But Dr. Murphy will give each judge, maybe 10 to 15 projects to look at, and you'll go through and judge them on, creativity and science and things like that. And like I said, it's a bunch of students, junior high, middle school up to high school, and there's a lot of homeschool students as well. And so it gives it an opportunity to really interact with the future. And what's really cool is that you put your name tag and you put down, Astronomical Society, and the kids are like, oh my God, somebody from the astronomical, and so it gives them, it's something that they can, oh, this person's from the Astronomical Society and they ask me all these questions. You never know what's going to spike interest, or spark interest in the youth. And I think, being there to kind of interact with them in a science, on their projects is actually really valuable.
Yeah, the reason I asked was because when I lived in Memphis, I had done some of that with the Astronomical Society there. And we also sponsored a prize or a gift. But one of the things that we did do that I really liked, and I don't know if it's since I've moved here the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know if our local society does this, but as part of the prize that we gave the student, we asked them to come and present their project to one of our meetings. Now, is that something that y'all have done?
Yeah, so funny thing about that, over the last 2 years, they actually haven't had any projects in our category. And
Oh, drat.
so it's been interesting because we've been interested in helping give out a prize, but there weren't
Yeah.
he's been presenting anything in the astrophysics or engineering kind of realm. And so part of like maybe helping judge might give people ideas for the next year, like, oh, I never thought about astronomy being something that we could test and
Yeah.
so forth. And so the answer is yes, but it's also, well,
No.
if we could, we would, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
I know I always enjoyed seeing the students' presentation and sitting there making a presentation in front of a bunch of people who are interested in astronomy seemed to be a kick for the kids too. So
yeah, heck
you
yeah.
know,
it
yeah.
has happened in the past. And in 2017,
Okay.
we had a young lady who came who did she was not in the senior high group that kind of get judged to go on. She was a junior high student, and they're like uncategorized, but we liked her project so much that we asked her to come and talk to us. She had chickens during the eclipse that she observed their behavior, and she had a control group of chickens with a friend outside the path. I mean, she did it really well. And
Oh,
so
wow, that is
really sweet
wonderful.
to see. Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good.
Yeah, video, like what did she see? That was before I was a member.
Yeah, she actually was. I wish we had video. She was very, very good. I mean, if you asked her, what did you mean by this kind of behavior? She exactly would say, this is what I mean by this behavior. And she could tell you what chickens do. I mean, that she raised them. So it was just a natural thing for her to do.
Well,
Oh,
that's really
wow.
see that's
That's
pretty cool.
great.
I think that the closest thing to engineering and astronomy when I judged was there was a kid looking at different materials that allowed Wi-Fi signal to pass through. And so he was trying to get better Wi-Fi in his house and trying to figure out which
No.
materials allowed for it. And if he would have put it into the engineering, I don't remember what he put it into, but it wasn't one of the categories that we had set up for our award. But it was probably the closest one to an engineering kind of idea. Do antennas help? Do the, he could have spun it towards an astronomy thing because, sending radio signals and things like that. But
Right.
yeah. So,
Wow.
so Dr. Murphy is also in my department, and so I go in and chat with him all the time about this fair. And again, it's a really good opportunity for the students to interact with science and interact with those of us that kind of play with science, in a more official or unofficial way. And yeah, I get an idea of what kind of experiments are there. So I know that with COVID, they kind of saw a downtick in participation, and so now that things are
Right.
kind of starting to, sort of get back to, I don't want to say normal because I don't want to jinx anything, but things are starting to kind of get back. I have a feeling that we'll start to see more and more people, willing to or wanting to come and do this kind of thing. So, I tried to remember what the numbers were last year about how many students they had there, but I think it was his largest year yet. So,
It seems like I was there. It seems like it was like 100 to 150 students there.
yeah, yeah,
Experience.
he gets a really good turnout. So, yeah, so if you're interested in judging, definitely let us know, and I can get you in touch with Dr. Murphy, and he would love to have it, and so we could send you as we could send whoever wants to go as a constituent of BSAS,
Great.
present the
Yeah, that's
team.
good.
We'll give you a little badge and everything.
Yeah, and when I judged in Memphis, there was a sixth grade teacher who was just there to see the see the exhibit and the projects that have been turned in, and she saw my badge.
Yeah.
And after that, I had to talk to her sixth grade class every year. So there's a different kind of contact that you can make just by accident sometimes. So, it's a great project. I like science fair stuff, and I like to see the kids when they're coming up, and so yeah, I'd like to have a student do some presentations too.
Yeah, yeah.
If we could ever get anybody interested in doing an
Yeah.
astronomy based kind of project.
Yeah, no kidding. And going and seeing kids in sixth grade and talking to them about this stuff, I guess that's the ultimate amount of outreach, right? Like that's getting when they're young and getting them interested
Oh
and
yeah.
around them and getting them, intrigued by the night sky. It's always valuable.
Oh
Cool.
yeah. And I was able to, I had a solar filter, so I was able to show them sunspots and things like that. And wow, they just blew their minds. So yeah, they're so impressionable when they're in fifth, sixth, seventh grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
That's what I'm hoping to do with the dwarf is figure out because I can pull it up on the iPad, and
Oh yeah.
you use it as like a video screen. However, you want to know what I saw? A buddy of mine has figured out how to get the Google app on one of
Yeah.
those Meta Oculus things, like
Oh
the
yeah.
the
Yeah.
virtual reality, and it's essentially like
Yeah.
the screen, like you're looking at the night sky on a big screen in there, and it has little dots where you can, click on different aspects of it. And I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. Can you imagine getting kids hooked on that? Like that would be
Oh
amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't go to a regular telescope then.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, just set it up and go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right.
whatever interests the kids, right? But
That's right.
yeah,
Fun.
we'll keep in touch, Ralph, in terms of
Okay,
what's
we
going
sure will,
on.
Keith.
And definitely, if you're interested in potentially judging, send us an email or send me an email, and we'll get you in touch
Sure.
with people that are involved with that.
Great. Okay, great.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything going on they'd like to share or any kind of cool outreach? Chuck, I know you've been doing quite a bit of outreach yourself.
I haven't done anything since September.
September, yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
The weather doesn't help. Yeah.
But I'm doing the Adventure Science Center Engineering Week I'm doing Sunday the 18th. So I'll have my setup there all day on Sunday, but they'll have engineers doing different kinds of presentations all week long.
Sure.
And then I think they said the Saturday following the Sunday the 18th, so that would be about the 23rd, maybe 24th, is Engineering to Destruction Day. So I assume they're doing robot against robot or something.
That
So
sounds
that'd
fun.
probably bring a lot of kids.
Oh yeah.
Dropping eggs off a second story onto something, right? Seeing if they break.
Uh,
So what month is that, Chuck?
February, that's next month.
Okay,
February 18th to the 24th.
okay.
well, that's cool. We have to look into that too. Awesome. Well, does anybody else have anything going on they'd like to talk about, or any questions, comments, observations?
There was a question about traveling to the eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
There is, I think it's for members of the Science Center, but there's
It's booked.
a bus going up to Indianapolis.
It's booked. I tried.
Okay. There was also a group not too far out of Carbondale that were looking for an astronomy person to be at their event. I hope I posted that to the group. If I didn't, I meant to.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
I think you
Might
did.
have, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you either sent to the group or sent it to me, but I do remember seeing that. Also, I know I'm gonna get up early that morning and drive to SIU Carbondale. They're having a big event in their stadium. Like if you want to bring equipment to photograph, they have the practice field where you can set up your stuff. And so I'm getting up and leaving early to do that. I know that other people are traveling. Theo, you're going to Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Texas too. Where are you going, Theo?
To Garner State Park.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm flying into Austin And a year ago, I had I just went driving, right on the dead center line, and I found a little like 6 unit motel in just a little bit of a no place. And I said to the owner, who was a Indian couple from India, I said, "Could I rent a room in a couple of years?" And he said, "In a couple of years?" It just didn't make any sense to him. And I said, "Do you have any idea what's going to happen to you in 2024?
Yeah.
This little town of 15 or 20 little shops is going to be 500,000 people or something." So we've been keeping in touch with each other over just regular email for a couple of years now. So I'll be traveling out away from Austin and sitting out in this little Indian motel in the middle of the desert in Texas. So I think it'll
Probably
be
say
fun.
the odds of you getting better weather than us are high.
Yeah, I think it's pretty decent usually. So, you know, I drove all over that area a couple of years ago just looking, and there's some pretty hilly spots outside of Austin. You have to kind of get out onto the plain before you got some real good views.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm jealous of you guys
Yeah.
go. I unfortunately am teaching, and it's on a Monday, so whoever scheduled this thing didn't do very well. So I have to record a virtual for my class. And
Uh,
so wherever I have to go or wherever I can go, I have to be back the next day for class. So yeah, again,
yeah.
whoever scheduled this thing didn't ask, right? So
Didn't ask you.
Right.
When is the next
Oh,
one?
geez.
well, I mean,
Ooh,
after
20,
2024,
20,
is
yeah,
it?
2040
2060.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a ways.
2040 or
Unless you
yeah.
want to travel elsewhere.
Yes.
We got a ways to go before we get another one here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a
I
way.
have been I have been chasing auroras for years, and I have yet to see one. And I
No.
have been all over Alaska and all over everywhere, Canada. It seems like I just chase them away. I cannot see one.
Well, just let
I
us
see
know
all
where
these.
you are and we'll go elsewhere.
Oh yeah, maybe,
Right.
maybe that's the thing. I'm seeing these beautiful aurora pictures that people are taking in Iceland and places like that. It's breathtaking, and I can't get one in my camera nor in my eye. So
Yeah. I was part of a photography group for a while, and they knew that I did some astrophotography and taking pictures of the night sky. And there was a lady who made an impromptu trip to Finland, and she was like, "Hey, there's Northern Lights here. Can you help me take pictures?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I walked her through how to get focus and how to, just shoot the night sky. And the pictures that she took were just unbelievable. And I'm like, "No, that could, yeah, like, I just living
yeah,
vicariously through somebody else's lens. Like, oh my gosh, yeah,
right.
on a bucket list. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many cool things in the sky, and so much
Yes, there are.
time to take advantage of it. So, well, good deal. Well, did anybody else have anything they'd like to chat about? I know we're running at about a little over an hour here. And so, we can definitely wrap it up unless anybody else has anything they'd like to chat about. If there's anything
I do have a question.
yeah, G.
Yeah, new member. And I was looking around for, 90 years. There's got to be something about the history of this society, and I really couldn't find anything. So if somebody can point me in the right direction, I'd love to read it.
Well, interestingly, we have our charter on the on the website if you really want to do that. Last time it was updated, I think it was 1980. Oddly enough, we have a gentleman coming to give us a talk on Wednesday, or not Wednesday, sorry, in March. on E. Barnard, who we kind of got our namesake from. Otherwise, the history of the club, I'm too new. Theo, you have any say so in this?
We do need to post something. I think some history is actually on our flyer, which isn't online. We used to have a nice little, I need to go through some old stuff. But basically, we've been around for almost 100 years. We were an offshoot from the Barnard Astronomical Society, which is in Chattanooga. They're slightly older than we are. And I think for a long time, we were just called sort of the Nashville chapter of them. And then we acquired the Seyfert in honor of Dr. Seyfert at Dyer Observatory. So, but very much the same age, but we've been around for a long, long time. It's really interesting how long the club has been around. And most of the time doing outreach. I've been a member for 20 years and we were doing star parties from long before I got there. We actually hosted the Astronomical League the year before I joined, I think in 2003. So, it's dependent on, the age of the members and stuff like that, what we've done, but actually the group does quite a bit. So
that's cool. If you find any of that information, let me know, because I can digitize it and we can put it up on the website or figure out how to make it available, because the history of it is pretty cool. And Gene brought up a good point. Like, there's we've been around for 90 years. Obviously we've done something. And I know that I've been president for 2 years, so I didn't break the club apart, like accidentally disband us. So we're still around. So
Success.
Yeah, that's the goal,
Still
right?
together.
Just don't break anything.
Just
Right?
don't break it.
But yeah, that's an interesting point. And I do remember seeing those flyers, Theo. I think we've had them at some events, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
I usually have a few at star parties, put on the table.
Yeah.
But
that's really interesting to know, Theo, about being a offshoot of Chattanooga, because my kids used to live in Chattanooga, and I was present when that club did their walk. They did a beautiful walk over in a state park, county park, I guess. And I was there just by accident the day they dedicated that walk, and had no idea we were connected to them at all. That's interesting.
Believe it or not, we have, or kind of have, a solar system walk, except that it's in disrepair. And so if anybody wants to take on a cool project, it's at Warner Park.
I think that's
really?
something we could do this year, is really reach out to them and see like what we could do as a group to maybe figure out how to get that thing up and running.
If you start at the Nature Center, not too far, and you start walking back toward the road, on the Nature Center side, next to a great big huge cedar tree, there's a plaque embedded in the ground that says sun. And it goes up to the road that's the entrance, and that's where Uranus is. And then coming back, there's Neptune and Pluto. I could find the sun. I could find Mercury. I think Mars is under a rock. I found Jupiter.
Really?
But I could not find Neptune. I think maybe I found Pluto, but I needed a shovel.
Oh,
I imagine these are probably like concrete.
Yes.
Like,
And
wonder if we could do something to put like a metal marker on there so we could find it with a metal detector if necessary or something. Oh,
we need a good Eagle Scout who needs a project to do.
Exactly, right?
That's what
I think they were all flat types, so that the mowers could mow right over it.
Yeah.
The original. Easy maintenance.
Yeah.
Except they never maintained
it. Yeah.
Just like a cemetery, right, Jack?
Yeah, right.
Just mow right over it.
Yeah. Right. Hey, my first job was working at a cemetery. Nobody bothers you. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, right.
If somebody does bother you, well, you're in the wrong place. So,
Yeah.
You ought to be able to run faster.
yeah. On
Right.
that note, we'll just kind of button up today's meeting. Next, I just want to say next month, I'm pretty excited. We have a gentleman who I met at Green Bank for their Star Quest a couple years back and saw him again last year. He was one of the people in charge of the New Horizons mission. And so he's going to
Oh,
chat with us
wow.
about the New Horizons and the update kind of on its current mission and what it's doing. So it should be a fun one for next month. And then the month after, Dr. Billy from Dyer is going to give us a talk on Barnard, hopefully in his backyard in the observatory. So that would be exciting as well. So a couple things coming
Yeah.
up for the next couple months. So we have those to look forward to. Once again, thank you everybody for showing up today. I know it isn't Dyer, but hopefully, we got some good stuff today, and hopefully you enjoyed chatting with us in somewhat of a non-formal setting. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or any suggestions, definitely email them to us at the info@bsasnashville.com, or you get emails from me all the time. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to get back to you. All right.
Sounds
That
good.
being
All right.
said,
Thanks, Tom.
yeah, we'll go ahead and finish up today. Thank you, everybody, again, and
Thanks,
stay
Dave.
safe out there. If you're driving, give yourself some extra time. Tomorrow, we're going to get more stuff. So, again, just give yourself time. Don't get out unless you need to. All right.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.